You are getting ready to leave the house. You stand in front of the bathroom mirror. You fix your hair. You adjust your posture. You look at your face and you think, I look good. You feel confident. You recognize the person staring back at you. So, you go out. You meet up with your friends. Somebody pulls out their phone to take a group photo. You all smile. The flash goes off. Your friend hands the phone around so everyone can look at the picture. But the second your eyes find your own face in the frame, your stomach drops. You look at the photo and you think, who is that? Your face looks entirely wrong. Your smile looks crooked. One eye looks slightly lower than the other. Your jawline looks completely different than it did in the bathroom an hour ago. You feel a sudden rush of panic and embarrassment. You look like a weird, asymmetrical stranger. So, what do? You do what every single human being does. You blame the camera. You tell yourself it was just bad lighting. You blame the focal length of the lens. You tell your friend, I just look terrible in pictures, and you ask them to delete it. You assume that the smartphone lens distorted reality, but the camera did not distort anything. The camera is a soulless piece of glass and metal. It does not have feelings. It captures light exactly as it is. The camera is telling the absolute, objective truth. It is showing you exactly what you look like to every other person in the room. The camera isn't the liar. The mirror is. Don't believe me? Try this the next time you hold your phone. Open your selfie camera. Look at your face. Now, take a photo, open the edit settings, and horizontally flip the image. Suddenly, you look weird, right? Your face looks alien and distorted. But the physical image didn't actually change. All you did was flip it. To understand why you feel physically repulsed by your own objective photograph, we have to look at a biological glitch in how your brain processes reality. It is a terrifying psychological rule that proves you are intimately, deeply in love with a person who does not actually exist. In 1968, a social psychologist named Robert Zajonc conducted a very strange experiment. He wanted to understand how the human brain decides what it likes and what it hates. So, he took a group of volunteers and showed them a series of random images. He showed them meaningless geometric shapes. He showed them made-up words. He even showed them faces of complete strangers. Some of the images were only shown for a split second, just once. Other images were flashed on the screen up to 25 times. After the test, Zajonc asked the volunteers a simple question. Which images do you prefer? The results were absolute. Across the board, without fail, the volunteers overwhelmingly preferred the images they had been shown the most frequently. It didn't matter if the shape was ugly. It didn't matter if the word made no sense. Simply being exposed to something repeatedly made the human brain fall in love with it. Zajonc coined a term for this. He called it the mere exposure effect, and it is one of the most powerful, unbreakable rules in human psychology. Your brain is a survival machine. It is terrified of the unknown. If something is new, it might be a threat. It might be poisonous. It might be a predator. But if you see something over and over again and it doesn't kill you, your brain relaxes. It categorizes that thing as safe. And in the primitive human mind, safe equals beautiful. The more frequently you see something, the more you biologically prefer it. The mere exposure effect dictates the music you like. It dictates the brands you buy. And, most importantly, it dictates exactly how you view your own identity. Think about your daily routine. You wake up in the morning and go to the bathroom. You look in the mirror to brush your teeth. You look in the mirror to fix your hair. You get in your car and look in the rearview mirror. You walk past a glass building and glance at your reflection. By the time you are 20 years old, you have stared at your own face tens of thousands of times. Your brain has memorized every single millimeter of it. The mere exposure effect has taken hold. Your brain has decided that this specific face is safe, familiar, and exactly how you are supposed to look. But there is a massive problem. The face you have spent your entire life falling in love with is a physical impossibility. It does not exist in the real world. Every single time you look in the mirror, basic physics plays a trick on you. The glass reverses your image. It flips you horizontally. If you have a freckle on your left cheek, the person in the mirror has a freckle on their right cheek. If you part your hair on the left, the mirror parts it on the right. You might think this doesn't matter. You assume human faces are perfectly symmetrical, so a flipped image should look exactly the same. But human faces are not symmetrical. Evolution did not build us as perfect, mirrored geometric shapes. We are deeply, wildly asymmetrical. And there is a fascinating neurological reason for this. The left side of your face is controlled by the right hemisphere of your brain, which is the emotional center. The right side of your face is controlled by the left hemisphere, which is the logical center. Because of this cross-wiring, the left side of your face is actually far more expressive. Your face is literally divided into two different emotional landscapes. One eye is always slightly larger. One side of your jaw is slightly wider. When you smile, one corner of your mouth pulls up just a fraction of an inch higher than the other. When you look in the mirror, you don't notice these imperfections. The mere exposure effect has hardwired this specific flipped asymmetry into your brain. Your brain has memorized the reversed image and labeled it as the absolute standard of who you are. But a camera does not flip the image. When your friend takes a group photo, the lens captures the true, unreversed asymmetry of your face. When you look at that photograph, your brain immediately expects to see the mirror version. But suddenly, the freckle is on the wrong side. The larger eye is on the wrong side. The crooked smile is pulling in the completely wrong direction. Your brain's pattern recognition software instantly crashes. It looks at the photograph and realizes that the mathematical geometry of the face is entirely backwards. It triggers a subtle, uncanny alarm. To your brain, the person in the photo is an imposter. It looks like a bizarre stranger wearing your skin. And that is when you ask your friend to delete the picture. We spend our entire lives trying to perfect our image. We stand in front of glass, analyzing every detail, judging every flaw, and building our entire identity around the reflection staring back at us. But that reflection is a ghost. The person you have spent your entire life scrutinizing, fixing, and judging simply does not exist. But there is a beautiful, tragic irony to this illusion. Think about your friends. When they look at that group photo, they don't think you look weird. To them, you look perfectly normal. Because they have spent years looking at the real you. They are experiencing the mere exposure effect with your true, unflipped face. In fact, psychologists have proven that if you show your friends the mirror image version of your face, their brains will reject it. They will think the mirror version looks creepy, asymmetrical, and wrong. We are entirely, fundamentally isolated in our self-perception. You are the absolute only person on planet Earth who thinks you look like the person in the mirror. You have lived your entire life. You have looked at thousands of reflections. But you have never once made eye contact with the real you. The only people who know what you truly look like are everybody else. So, the next time you see a photograph of yourself and your stomach drops, do not delete it. Don't blame the camera. Just take a deep breath, look closely at the stranger in the picture, and say hello. Because for the very first time, you are finally meeting the person that the rest of the world has been loving your entire life.